this was supposed to be kind of a Wednesday's video, I was thinking, but since I'm not going to be able to get the clock I really wanted to get this week, unfortunately I'll have to get it next week if it doesn't sell. This is technically going to be Friday's video, and it's going to be like a garbage video. I know I'm not going to be proud of this video at all, and some people might like this, might not. Me, nah. So I'm not really the happiest of this, but it's just basically a parts pile of like clocks that either worked but then broke, or they work but I just kept them down here because I don't have space anymore, or they've just collected around like quartz clocks, or just parts I really don't mind about. So with this, I'm just gonna be it's gonna be boring. I'm sorry guys, it's gonna be very boring. It's just me talking about this. No videos are gonna be added into this. Just talking quickly about all the clocks, seeing how long I can get through this. It's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be very chaotic. None of this is organized. The only clock that technically would work here is that one right over there, and that one, or was it that one? I don't know. Yeah, one of these worked when I just took it out of service, basically. And when I say took it out of service, I basically just let it fully wound down, and it just sits here with oil. It's okay. But I guess we'll start off probably all the way on this side, and we'll just move to this side, because there are some clocks you guys haven't seen in a long time over here, and some recent ones you guys haven't seen over here. All in all, it's just clocks that are just either parts, pieces need to be fixed up, or I just don't have time for them at all. And also some pretty interesting ones. Some backstory is pretty cool of this. So with that, let's get into this little video. Okay, so starting over here on the floor, there are some bits of clocks that go just randomly to other clocks, and I'm not going to do the best job. I'm just going to basically pinpoint at every single piece. And I'm basically telling you guys that. Now, this is always just changing. There's some that will come and go to this little parts pile. And this is the only best pile, the best part of the basement I can actually show you guys. The rest of it is just dingy and full of just junk. But starting over here there is this saloon clock that actually was running when I took it down here, but this was very first in the collection. You guys could remember this over here. It's in one of my first videos and all that. Then there's a Kienzle over here. You can see it says, oops, wrong way. See, it says Kienzle right there. I have another Kienzle movement, and I'm not talking about the Kienzle that doesn't work. This is just a battery movement that half worked when I got it. Over here is just a gold back plate with a mirror nail. This is the New Haven 4 rod with the seat board with the rods. The rods are somewhere. I have to look for them. They're in the pile. I don't know where. But that was the seat board from it. I took it off because things happened to that case. But, oh well. Moving on, this is another bent up plate from a lot of these quartz clocks, or like alarm clocks are from Goodwill. Especially this clock over here, it was from Goodwill as well. This little Seth Thomas, there's not that much to it. It was mechanical, but it died. Moving on to that. Over here is something pretty cool. This came from the Ansonia. Now this is very, very faded. You guys can read that is ice cream. This is very old, very brittle. It's like a bag almost. It was in the Ansonia. Then Ridgeway, minute hand, hour hand, wood pieces, a battery holder, a gear. The New Haven 4 rod back piece, which if you can see this was so much colorful, is because I was don't hate me, but I was thinking of attempting to paint this, and I painted the back door to see how it came out. But then the original finish to it was just gone. There was nothing I could do to save it. So I just attempted to see what it would do with this, and it came out really, really nice. A beautiful stain, a redwood stain. It was nice. Let's see. Moving on. Plastic dial with actual glass. Let's see. I have no idea what alarm clock this is. It's just China. Plant, another clock, a Timex, a Howard Miller, another plant, quartz, and this one is something you guys haven't seen in a long time, or at all. This is a Hermley 130-070 movement. And this movement, if you guys ever remember one live stream I did a long time ago, I have it unlisted, but I was working on fixing this movement, but the ratchet in this was so screwed up, every time I would wind it, it would pop back and hurt my hand. So I basically messed with the case, if I could say that, and then the movement got hurt in the process. But there was nothing I could do about the ratchet. The ratchet was gone. But the fly fan's missing from it, but this technically still works, believe it or not. Whoops. It still works, believe it or not. Without a fly fan, it does okay. So I just leave it there, and then there's an Elgin, I think, with a messed up minute hand. Another Timex, I think a first time. Moving over here, gonna go back. We're gonna go backwards. We're gonna go this way, then this way, like so. So starting on top is pretty interesting. This is for the 1992 Howard Miller grandfather clock. And I told you guys this was new old stock. The people never set it up. So these were the foam blocks that were on the time, strike, and chime wave cables. This one was another one that was on the chime side. This one that's in two pieces was on the time side, and I had to rip it apart to get it off. And you can see by the packaging it says Sly. That's why it kind of has like a little bit of a Sly strike, a little bit, but it's mostly Howard Miller. And then this is where the key and the crank were for the door and the winding hole, well, arbors for the weights. And then finally, there was this piece on it that is remove, pull down, and this goes up on the rods to hold the rods in transit. So this clock was never, it's like taken apart. Well, not really taken apart. It was never set up from the old owners. So I got it as new old stock, no pivot wear. The thing is perfectly brand new almost. And this thing, if I ever have to transport it, I'm basically putting it back together as it was, because that's how good it was. Then there's another piece of shelving, but we'll go over it later. Then down here is something I got a while ago. This is a quartz clock, actually, but the movement was wrecked in it. I guess it's 6 o'clock right now because I heard the shelving go off. But it's a table clock. You put stuff on top, and it just sits in the corner working perfectly fine. Moving over here is the 266 Ridgeway dial. Still in perfectly good condition. And I still have the movement. The non-busted movement and the working movement. Well, working movement. Then moving over there is the Waltham. It's still in parts. And to be honest, I'm never really going to get it fixed. It's just a Chinese movement. There's not really much I can do. Then moving over here is another clock that you guys haven't seen in the collection for a very, very long time. This clock is one of the first Seiko clocks I ever really had. And yes, I do technically own a Seiko. But it's just a generic cheap one. I got it for like $12 at Goodwill. Westminster Whittington works okay. And believe me, it doesn't sound the best, but it's okay. on a time crunch because my AC is going to kick on in the basement soon, but going to move down the list now. Alright, so moving down the list, right there is when I converted the 1981 Howard Miller to a Yorgos movement, the 32/1A, not the one that's in the Bardwick, just that spare one I got when I originally got the Bardwick. And then moving over here is the Ridgway pendulum with the Ridgway leader on it, but technically that is the Seth Thomas pendulum with the Hermley leader on it. That was the one I got with the Seth Thomas. It wasn't as nice or good. It didn't look as great. It had a few scratches on it. So I took the 2 screws off it on the top, put the Hermley one on this, and put the Koeniger one that's currently in the Seth Thomas right now. It does okay. It was perfectly regulated, so it's okay. Moving on down is this clock, which actually works perfectly fine. Very light to move the hands, but it works okay. I haven't ran this in a long time. Then moving in here, I just put this down here for a while, is the Waltham, just quartz. And then finally, there was 2 attempts to make the 81 Howard Miller a Yorgos movement. This was the final result. I cut it into thin strips right here, and then I sawed it so that would be perfectly level. I know you guys can't see the best, but this was my attempt, and believe it or not, it actually worked perfectly fine. Moving right over here is this Linden. If you guys remember, once I did a video on this clock, and it just does a Westminster, but I'm not going to demo it since I'm running out of time. Works okay, but it's a little finicky to set up. Moving on to over here are 2 pieces of the Ridgway and another piece of the Shelburne. This vinyl flooring one was the first attempt for the Ridgway rods, which are these ones right here, the good ones, the good sounding ones. This was the first attempt at making the rods with a custom block for the clock, and it worked okay, but it was very quiet because it's vinyl. Almost fell there. And then this was the second attempt, but then you guys could see it curved pretty badly. At the end of its cycle when I had with it, it was so curved, it was so bad, it was crashing into the pendulum. That's when I changed it back to the vinyl flooring. And then right here is another piece to show that the 1992 Howard Miller Shelburne was a new old stock. I got the pendulum in this box, fully wrapped. The clock was never set up. And it says, save for grandfather clock. They say pendulum inside. Do not mess with or whatever it is. Gotta scoot back. So moving on to this little one. This is the Seth Thomas Westminster Ave Maria, if I said that correctly. I think I did. This one was the one that had that glitching battery in it. And this one was okay. It never worked, actually. It would manually do a battery chime, and oh man, I lost the time. Lost the time to the air conditioner going off, but it's done now. So, the Westminster Ave Maria, Seth Thomas, it never ticked on its own. It seemed to, but the movement was busted. But it still did a chime on the top of the hour. But moving on to this clock right here, which it was this big one. I think it's this side that opens. Am I correct? Yep. It would always be opened. It would by this Velcro that was taped on there and onto this side too. And this one, it played the Westminster on the top of the hour, and it worked pretty good. I never really had any issues with this, and I do kind of like this. It's kind of it really gives you the vibe of a schoolhouse clock. That's what I really, really have liked so far. Moving on to the last 2 items of this row is this little keyhole thing that get pressed onto the doors where the keyhole is. Like my Seth Thomas 70s Howard Miller or the 92 Howard Miller. And this is just the back carpet piece of the Keen's little movement. I don't know why I'm keeping it. Anyways, moving on to the next row. Okay, so here's the next row of like parts clocks, which This is the Hamilton dial with the 87 Hamilton, and the movement to it. So the movement dial and case to it. And then back down here is the 76 Regula pendulum, an eraser, Ansonia parts, key arbors, Ridgeway. This is for the back of the Ridgeway. It's B. It's the 1161 853 BS movement, 114 centimeter. And then here's the inside of it. This was all taken apart when I got it. And then here's another movement that it was actually working perfectly fine, but I took it apart anyways for spare parts. And then Hermley chime spring barrels. And then I replaced all the key arbors on that clock with other ones that were not bent like that, because those were severely bent. And then another dial over here. This one is pretty weird because it's a metal one. What's hilarious is it says Barrington, Illinois, which is hilarious because I'm close to that. And then moving down the row is just this clock that you guys saw in the background a lot that was like crooked and never really kept time. It was always like saying almost before 8 and all that. Then moving up here, I have absolutely God knows what is in this Tupperware. Like greenish goo. It smells so bad. It's very sticky. I think it's like that rust remover. I have no idea. But if anyone recognizes these rods, these are the New Haven 4 rod. That clock, these rods they sounded good, but then they fell and then they were all just junk. So moving on to the most weird part is why you might ask him why this is down here with the broken piece and a minute hand that's loose and a dial that is loose. Well, I was in the process of converting this Bim Bam to better hammers, which it has now. And then I decided, well, I don't have room for it anymore because the triple chime, the Linden, was in the way. So I took this down and I finally put it down here where it still works and probably will go back upstairs. I don't know. It's one of my parents' favorite. So it smells pretty good and it still works perfectly fine. So it's just down here sitting waiting to see what will happen to it. Then down here is the door accessions pendulum bob, which I might steal that for the Lincoln maybe. A key, wing nut, the pendulum, suspended spring, little thing for it. But this thing, it just sits here. It doesn't really do much. I have to put this little thing back in or else I lose it. Let's see. There we go. And put back on the style. A little tricky doing it one camp with one hand. But yes, this clock, it still works. I'm just letting it sit down here for a while. It still sounds pretty good. Pretty loud too. So, still works, just sits down here. So if anyone's wondering where this thing is, it's just sitting down here in the old bookcase that was in it. perfectly fitted. It was an extremely tight fit, but it fit. Then moving on to one of the last things on the shelf is this old Hierogos movement. This was the one that it was in the Howard Miller board when I first got it, the terrible one that I swapped out for the 32/1A. And this one just sits here. This was the movement that was going to be originally taking over the 81 Howard Miller, but then I decided to put the Hermley back in it and sell that for $80, which is still another continuation to the story that I'll have to say another time. But we'll continue on the last of the row. So then moving down this row, you might be wondering, why is this F. Thomas Woodbury down here? Well, here's a good reason why. This thing is just shot. There's no reason to bring this back. This thing has so many issues, it's just pointless. There's no life left in this movement. The movement's shot. It's junk. The best thing I would do is just gut it for parts. Probably what I'll do pretty soon to it, but we'll see. Moving on is a New Haven 4-rod bezel with the glass shot out of it. Savannah Row quartz. I'll throw that away probably. And then finally, last two big items on this, well, three, is the second Sessions movement that exploded on me when I tried to wind it that one time. You can see. Forestville, Connecticut. Here's the back. And then I said in a live stream that turned out to end abruptly because YouTube kicked me out from my phone. And then I couldn't get back in, so I had to delete it. To everyone who watched it, I'm sorry. Here is the Sessions dial for the Sessions and the bezel with the glass in it. It still is perfectly fine. I thought it was shattered, but it still is perfectly fine. And then finally, the Sessions. Let's just throw that somewhere else. This clock has given me fits so much. The door is falling off. Oh well. And looking in here, there are still the rods. The rods are still in here. Sessions made good rods. Their movements, just horrible. So, if you guys are debating me enough in the comments, I would find another Sessions movement and bring this clock back to life. But then I would need the minute hand nut, a minute hand, but I also have the hour hand. And I would need a little thing sticking out here for it. But we'll move on to another row. We got two more rows to finish this up. So with this one, this was a French clock that I got not too long ago. And I weighed this, and this thing weighs 23 pounds out of marble. This thing has a movement in it, the movement right here, that is very complicated. And I never got the pendulum with this. The suspension spring was fine, but the pendulum and leader were missing. So that's okay. And funny thing, it worked perfectly fine. Just it is missing its pendulum. Then I would have kept this around, but this thing is extremely quiet. And very, very quiet. Even when I had it, it was so quiet. But here's the dial to it, which is very, very nice for its condition. It's a really nice dial. Movement, the back piece, the minute hand and hour hand with the seat board, and the gong. Let's see. It's not that loud. It's very, very quiet. Moving on is this clock. You guys know I had anniversary clocks. This one was in my closet broken. I got it as broken, and it still is broken to this day. Then moving over here, there are, in this container right here, are a bag with quartz clocks, parts, and movements. I don't really know why. And then in here is just random Hermley and Regula parts, Kininger, Euros, whatever it is. But if anyone's wondering where the 76 Regula Cuckoo bird is, here's where it is. Let's see. There you go. Still is perfectly okay. Can always go back into the 80s Regula if it needed to be. I don't know why I'm keeping this bag though. Okay, so then moving on to the last two clocks of this row, and then we'll finish up the row with the Ridgeway parts. And then one final clock you guys haven't seen in a long time. So moving over here is this Savannah Row Westminster chime. And this clock never worked when I got it. The movement was screwed up so bad I could not even get it to work. But it still has its little switch for the chimes, which I'll demo the chimes if I can find a battery. Okay, so I found two batteries for this, and this is a little switch. So hopefully make chime 12, I think. We'll see. It's very slow, and I have no idea if the batteries are dying. Not again. So then that was the Savannah Row Westminster chime. I rarely even do this anymore. So then moving on to one last final clock. Then I'll show you guys the final clock after this. But I want to show you this bottom. Pretty cool. And then that bell striking movement. This was the clock. I really do not want to show the front of it because it's wrecked. I do not want to show it. It was wrecked pretty horribly when I got it. That's why I got it so cheap. No wonder why the spring never worked, because the thing was so bad. It was so beaten. It was this. I rarely ever show this one, so that's why I just really don't care much about that one. It just is horrible. But anyways, moving on to a few more Ridgeway parts, and then I'll finally show you the one clock I've been waiting to show for a while. This was the Ridgeway stand for the 5395. I still have the 266 that's somewhere. I have to go find it real quick. And so then this is the 266 one. I don't know where this piece went. It's always been lost. I don't know where it was. And that one was the 5395. 266, you guys can tell the difference a little bit. And then here is the small, very small, you can tell by my hand right there, it's very small, the 5395 dial with its screw-on piece. That was never needed. And then finally, there's one last clock that I know someone very specifically requested me asking what happened to it. I'll finally show it, but it's not in the best condition. The case is okay. The movement is garbage, and it's completely torn apart from when I got it. And so finally, to wrap this up, we finished with the Ansonia. This clock was completely, this wasn't really working when I got it. The chime swing was good, the time swing was bad, but if I did hold the key, it would run. I still have the pendulum, some of the springs. I still have a lot of the pieces to it. Like one of the pieces I still have, I think it's in here, is yes, the gong hitter, which this had a very good gong. And is this the Sessions Minihand? No, wait, is that... I think that's the session's minute hand. Is it? Or does it go to this clock? No, it went to a different clock. This what's the session's minute hand? No way. What else is here? Push pin. This is the nut. Oh my goodness, I did not realize that. Oops, sorry for recording. I did not realize that all this stuff was still here for this Ansonia. I thought all this... How did a gear get stuck in there? But, I thought, oh, I lost the minute hand in the nut, so I can't ever get a new movement for it. I perfectly can now. But without further ado, here's what the gong used to sound like, which I'll turn on a flashlight so I can see. The gong wire is loose. I can go tighten that real quick. Alright, tighten the screw for the gong. Let's see. That's not bad at all. What else is here? Taper pin, session screws, a flywheel, and a Panasonic battery. Wait, what was that? And one of those little push pins. But also, here you guys go. This was how much I paid for it when I got it. Yeah, bread box. It was one here that I ripped off right there. And then there's another one somewhere else. I mean, for this sessions, I don't think I'm ever going to bring it back. The sessions... I meant the Ansonia. I'm probably never going to bring back the Ansonia because... I don't find this as cool as my sessions. But, now that I found the hour hand and the nut for it right there, I can finally bring back the sessions. So, if you guys in the comments are like, you should bring back the sessions, I'll be like, alright, all I have to do is find a movement for it, fix up the door, find the screws, put the dial back on. This thing will be alive once again, because I have the pendulum bob and the Seth Thomas and the leaders for it. So, if you guys would really want for me to bring back the sessions, and I mean, if you got it for the sessions once more, even though I really wouldn't run it anymore because of how delicate it is, you guys let me know in the comments if I really should bring it back. But I guess for now, everything's just going to sit down here because I really don't have much of a purpose for a lot of these clocks. They're all really just continued as parts clocks. Never really meant to go anywhere. They either broken or they had some history in some way. And yes, believe it or not, the Seth Thomas right there is actually running again after I messed with it. But I'm going to leave it be. But there are some clocks that might go back upstairs. Like the Sessions might return. The Woodbury, maybe. That clock, you guys might have seen a little bit. Some other clocks that are definitely going to stay down here is the French clock, Ansonia, maybe the Cathedral, the Waltham's going to stay down here permanently. A lot of the quartz clocks are staying down here, parts clocks and all that. They're not really used. They only had like their one-time gig and that was basically it. But this was the big whole parts pile of all the clocks. So, that, really hope you guys enjoyed this not really best made video. I was really supposed to have a clock video come out this week that I really wanted to get, but I'll be getting it hopefully next Monday, if I'm right. When this video comes out, it'll be Friday, and I'll already be at a campground going tubing on a boat. And that boat, you guys will be seeing a video on next week, hopefully, is the 2002 Sea-Doo. I said in that, if you guys watched that video, and you guys know, I said in the beginning, wait for the Seth Thomas. Mr. X needs help. Oh, what? But if you guys have seen the Sea-Doo video, I said in the beginning, that was when I was around 370 to 80 subscribers. I said, we don't know if the boat's going to be totaled because the prop failed. The boat has returned. It is fixed. But you guys will see that video. That's going to be great. Editing, fun for me. Sarcasm. But I'm going to have a lot of fun on that boat. Going to go tubing for the first time on the boat. And I'm going to do a good edited video on it. Hopefully, it'll be okay. I hope you guys enjoy this little bit of a last minute video idea I did. I'm filming this on Tuesday, which is currently July 7th, if I'm saying that correctly. Yes, July 7th. And this will be out on July 9th, if my math is correctly for dates. But I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm going to be at a campground Thursday morning to Sunday afternoon. Won't get another clock till Monday. And then after I get that one clock that I'm really hoping to get, and after the Sea-Doo video, there will be the finally done clock collection video that has been delayed for like more than 5 months. And then after this, there's two things: Journey to 2K and getting 2 grandfather clocks for the collection for 2K. I hope that we can reach 2K pretty quickly. We'll see. But for that, thank you for watching.